What's up, Asian Not Asian listeners? It's Mike. Listen, have you ever wanted to take an Asian American Studies class, but you couldn't because you were too busy studying case studies or whatever for that big Google interview? Well, we got you. We got a live comedy show coming at you. It's called Asian American Studies 3000. We got funny comedians and experts who are getting together to teach you something cool about Asian American culture. It's happening September 15th at Canal Street Market in Chinatown. Shows at 7:30, doors at 7. Tickets are just $10. Go to the link in our Instagram bio or the link in the description of this episode. See you there.
I don't think I've ever said this to another living human person. I jerked off once to one of those YouTube like affirmation things.
Yo, absolutely.
And welcome back to another episode of Asian Not Asian Podcast, a podcast where two Asian guys not from Asia talk about American issues no American cares about. I'm your host, Fumi Abe.
And I'm Mike Nguyen.
Today is Saturday, September 4th. We're coming at you live from all over America, once again, New York.
Literally all over America. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a review. Hit 5 stars. If you're on Spotify, go ahead and hit follow so you can always be up on podcast episodes. And if you're checking this out on YouTube, smash I've learned is the word smash that subscribe button, but mostly tell your friends, because that is the biggest social media plug of all.
Yes, friendship. And we are, a quick announcement before we move on to the Patreon. We are actually looking for a social media manager to add to the team. We will pay you. We're looking for someone to kind of manage our Instagram account and maybe like help us build up our TikTok accounts, because Mike and I are old and we don't know what we're doing with that kind of stuff. And also we're busy. So we will pay you to do this. So if you're interested, please send a resume and your portfolio to asiannotasianpod.com. No. asiannotasianpod@gmail.com. And it would be great if you have some experience with this kind of stuff.
Yeah, you can do it remotely, and it'll be great. And if you're a big fan of the pod, this is fun. It's you can have a big impact on a small organization. That's what they always say.
Man, we're such LLCs right now, dude. We're such
MBA Asians, dude.
MBA Asians right now. Moving on to our Patreon shout out. What is Patreon? It is the best way to support the podcast financially. You can go to patreon.com/AsianNotAsianPod and give us money on a monthly basis, and in return, we'll give you a shout out on the podcast. You get bonus episodes. We sign into your DMs, all kinds of fun stuff. And why do we need your money? Because we're an independent podcast. We're not with any network. Nobody's helping us. We're doing this bi-coastally. You know, we've hired an editor. We've had a producer. We're trying to get a social media manager. We're trying to make better shit for you guys. So any contribution would be greatly appreciated. So, and I know our listeners work for fucking Google. Okay, so go ahead and give us $50 a month. I know you can do it. I believe you can write this off on your taxes because it's like a donation. It's a donation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So talk
charity.
Talk to your, for just 5 cents a day, you can save 2 Asian boys from pursuing their dreams. Okay.
This is terrible.
So we got 4 new people this week who joined. We got, and now we're gonna guess your ethnicity based on your last name. Here we go. Ellie Tanaka.
Ellie Tanaka.
Yeah.
This is Japanese, of course.
This is Japanese, of course.
But like a cool Gen Z.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Ellie is such
Gen
a
Z.
cool name. That's such a cute name.
Ellie, yeah, for sure.
It
used to be like the name of like a cow maid, but now it's like a cool name.
A cow maid? What's a cow maid?
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, Ellie, go ahead and milk them cows.
Oh,
you know, like,
yeah.
Ellie, get in here. We need you to bust up that chef-a-robe. And now it's like, Ellie, hey, follow me on TikTok, man.
Yeah. You're a cool Gen Z cow Japanese person. And we love that.
Japanese person.
This next person's tricky. Emily, ooh, that sounds easy, but wait for the turn. Suvana Sanka. SUVANNASANKHA. Is this Thai?
Wow. I think this is Thai. Or it's Emily Savannah. She's a white girl, went to Thailand, added on
the Sanka.
Added on the Anka part.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think you were a white woman with an Asian fetish, and you should be ashamed of yourself. But thank you so much for your money. We love that.
Hey, thanks.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Next, we have Chia Swan Chang. It's a CHIAHSUAN Chang.
Sounds like Chinese to me.
Chinese American.
Good old Chinese.
And last but not least, we have Mimi. M-I-M-I.
Mimi. This is a tricky one.
This could be Japanese. I know some Japanese girls named Mimi. Yeah.
I know some Vietnamese girls named Mimi also. Or hey, you know what? Let's go through a curveball. French. Maybe it's a French person.
Ooh.
Maybe.
Because you're right. There was that. Who's that person? Wait, I'm sorry. Is this person? Who's that? Our guest may know this. Who's that person that sings that song? La 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 la.
I wish I could Google that.
Whatever. I can't do it. That's like that person's name is Mimi. I think.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Whoever sings
All right.
that. I
well,
think. It could be that person.
It's that person.
It's
Thanks.
the sha-la-la-la-la
And I hope
Asian.
this person. It's the sha-la-la-la-la me Asian.
Yeah. Damn. All right. Well, thank you so much for donating. And if you want us to guess your ethnicity on this podcast, go to patreon.com/Asian.AsianPod and we'll fucking do it, dude. We'll fucking do it. Don't even worry about it. Moving on to how we always start the podcast. We on Asian Not Asian trying to figure out what it means to be Asian American because people always telling us how to be Asian American and we don't know how it's defined and so that's what we try to.
It's undefined.
It's undefined. It's like dividing by zero and so we try to figure out what that means every week by asking each other what kind of Asian were you this week. So Michael, what kind of Asian were you this week, sir?
This week I was a Bruce Wayne Asian.
Hey.
So you know what? We do have that Patreon money. Not a lot, not that much, but it's a little bit. And it's enough where it just gives you a little bit of something. You know what I'm saying? So I was on the way to a show. Realized when I almost got to the show that I had put the wrong time in for the show.
Okay.
So the show was I was like texting the host. And the host, I was like, "Hey man, what was there?" And the host, it was like, "The show's over." And I was like,
shit!
Fuck!
Yeah,
I totally missed it.
They never
and
hit you
like,
up.
Fuck.
They never hit you up. Like, where are you?
This is the problem with like a lot of this with stuff is like this person has my number, but DM'd me on Instagram to ask me where I was, and I just hadn't checked Instagram. Usually I check it all the time, but I hadn't checked it.
Yeah.
So I was stupid. My fault there. But so then I was like, okay, I got to go to this other. There was a cool Asian prom, I guess you could say, and it was a cool hang.
Yeah.
Because Asuko Kasuka, who's been on the show, and she's amazing. She was here and she called a meeting of the Asians.
Yeah.
So there was like a Asian prom, and I had to go from Midtown to Greenpoint. And so I took the train down, and it's taking forever because the train's all fucked up. L train stops running, and I'm like, what am I doing? I am Bruce Wayne. Okay, I got a little bit of that money. So I called an Uber, went all the way over to the Asian prom, opened up a tab, okay, using the little LLC card we have, impresses the shit out of people. When I everyone's always got their Chase Sapphire, Chase Sapphire Reserve. I got a Spark Business account. I got a Spark Business.
Capital One. Shout out.
I'm just like, go ahead, put it on. Go ahead, put it on there. I felt like Bruce. Like if you ever watch Justice League, people always ask like, Bruce, like,
what's your power?
What's your power? And he's like, I'm rich. And I'm like, that was me.
It's so funny.
I'm not rich, but compared to comedians,
you're very
I got money.
Rich. You're very rich.
I'm very rich. And like, then I took a helicopter home, as we did, as you do, and I put on my comedy suit, and I was telling jokes.
Yeah, and you went home to your butler, to your British butler.
But it was just nice. Yeah, exactly. To my British butler.
Yeah.
It was just nice, just because you know what it is with money is that it just gives you, you can move. It's like when you play chess, okay? And when you play chess, you can just go, you can go vertical, horizontal, or diagonal, okay? But when you got money, you can also go like the other axis, the up and down, You're playing 3D chess,
3D
bro.
chess, yeah.
So I was playing a little 3D chess with my Bruce Wayne comedy money.
I love
that.
that.
Was me.
It's funny because I know you reveled in this because so many times you tell me like, oh, I went out to drinks with my friends from Berkeley and now they're partners at their law firm and they flexed on me and I felt insecure about it. But you'll go to a comedy party and buy somebody one $7 beer and they'll be like, oh my god, and that's your flex. You're like, yeah,
that's my flex.
I have a Patreon.
And I'm like, I got a Patreon. I'm taking Uber pools everywhere. No big deal. It's like, Mike's doing real well.
Love it.
Yeah. How about you, man? What kind of Asian were you this week?
Oh, man. This week I was, this is actually kind of a longer story, but I'm going to tell it. And then I'm going to ask our guest what he thinks about it, because I do think this is important. And it's kind of the theme of the show. This week I was a little bitch Asian. Okay, a little bitch Asian.
Whoa.
And I don't want to get into if that word is problematic or not. Okay, if there are any people out there who are like, that's whatever. I'm not talking about that right now. That's just how I feel. I was a little bitch Asian. What happened? Okay, is that I everybody knows I'm in LA, and
Yep.
I'm out here. I'm trying to do what's best for the company so that Mike could keep Uber pulling during a COVID pandemic. And I've been trying to like get on bigger podcasts as a guest so that I could spread the word. Okay, I'm a missionary for Asian Not Asian. I'm spreading the word.
Yep, gotta get
so
out there.
recently got the opportunity to do a podcast. I don't want to name anybody for the story. It's probably gonna come out. Hopefully, it'll come out soon. Did this podcast that's like pretty big. They're significantly bigger than we are.
Sure.
It's not necessarily like an Asian American podcast, but there are sort of Asian people on the podcast, and they had invited me, and I was really excited. It's my first like big podcast I'm doing in LA, and I'm like on my way there. I'm like listening to the podcast. I'm like writing out potential like stories or jokes I could tell,
Little
or like,
bits, yeah.
And so I get there, and it's everything is going pretty well. We're having a good time. We're talking like nudes and like what it's like living in LA alone, all that kind of stuff. And
Sure.
it's fun. We're having a good time. It's, it's like a podcast about dating or whatever the fuck. And something happens where we're like talking about nudes or dick pics or something. And it's like two guy hosts and one girl host. And the girl said something like, as a woman, blah, 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 blah. Or like she said something like that. And then the other guys got like upset. They were like, whoa, like you don't represent all women, you can't speak for all women that. And she goes, oh, my bad, like that's not what I meant. I just,
Were they joking or were they really saying that?
They weren't upset. There's more context to this later, which I'll tell you, but they were like kind of weird about it. I was uncomfortable. They were like, whoa, they're like, you're not listening, like you're not listening, like you can't say you represent all women because people get mad or whatever in the comments. And she's like, that's not what I'm saying. If I said that, I'm sorry, right? And she's telling her thing. But they kept bringing this up. They kept bringing up the fact that she was saying she represents all women, even though she kept saying, like, I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. If I said that, I'm sorry. They kept bringing it up.
Right. Were they joking? Again, were they like kind of like...
At this point, they were like...
The
The vibe was like, my little sister's getting bullied vibes, if you know what that feels like.
Okay.
I felt like she was my little sister, and they used to, like, random people were bullied. That was the vibe. Like, it wasn't like... They weren't gonna, like, punch her, and they weren't yelling, but it was kind of like... They were smiling and kind of like... just
teasing her a little bit,
teasing her, condescending a little bit. It got to a point where she started crying. Actually, she started crying. And
damn, really?
Yeah, she started crying, and then she ran out, and we had to like pause. We had to like stop the podcast, and like I don't know these people very well, right?
You never stop the podcast. Always let it roll.
I mean, it was rolling, but they're not gonna put it in, obviously. But it was was like she like ran out, and we had to like pause it, and they had to go talk to her. And in that moment, I was thinking about. Because as it was happening, I too was like, why do they keep... She kept being like, why do you guys keep bringing this up? Like, I'm the only woman here. It feels really weird that there's like, I'm being ganged up on like 3 guys and 1 girl. Like, why do you keep... I have to kind of like always give the female perspective. That's why I'm here. Like, why do you keep bringing it up? I apologized or whatever. And I too was like, why do they keep bringing it up? Like, I feel like it's so weird, right?
Wow.
And she kept looking at... I think she was like looking at me for like support. But like... I didn't do anything because I didn't like know them. And
yeah. Well, I was gonna ask, is there like some further context for this? Do you know if this is like something?
So that's the thing, is like I don't know them. Maybe this is just how they talk, or this is their vibe, or maybe they cry once an episode. I have no idea. And so I didn't say anything. And when she left, I was just like, I was really like, hey, again, I know gender is a construct, so don't get mad at me. But I really felt like I wasn't a man. Like I really should have. I really felt like. Really? I felt like I should have said something. Like it really, like I could clearly tell she was being ganged up on.
She was looking to you for your...
Not even me. I think it was just like they were just doing something that I thought was weird and wrong too. And I was just like, why didn't I say something? I could have just been like, I could have done it comedically too. You know what I mean? I could have been like, whoa, just clear the air. Like that's not what she's saying. It's all good. I've done stuff like that. Blah, blah, blah. My balls, and then let's move on to the next topic.
Yeah. Always gotta pick the balls out.
And I didn't do it, and she like it was so awkward. And then like they come back in, and they like we had to like wrap up the episode because like it's so hard to come back from that and be like, so how's dating? Dating's weird. Like
any news?
Let's talk Afghanistan or whatever. We can't do that. So they come back in and they're like, all right, Fumi, like where can they find you? And I'm like, on Instagram. And it like wrapped up and like I didn't even get to really plug the pod really which is like the main reason why I fucking did the thing. I mean, they did ask me about the podcast in the episode, so as long as they don't cut that out, I do talk about it in depth.
Look at this. This is what happens when toxic masculinity. We don't get to plug our podcast.
We don't get to plug our podcast.
Come on.
That's what I'm upset about. But like I guess I have more things to say about it, but yeah, that was really
Okay. Yeah.
It was
we want to get into it.
I'm gonna get into it, but let's bring our guest in because he's been waiting very patiently, and I'm so happy to have him on, and we've been trying to get him for a minute, and usually when we bring our comedian guests on, we're like, oh, you can see them on Comedy Central, Netflix, all this stuff, and you can see them on those things, but quick anecdote, this guy he has a special place in my heart because he's like the first comic who like looked out for me back in like 2018. He like I didn't even know him that well. I think we like saw each other's show like once. He emailed me and was like, he had just done JFL. Okay, he had gotten New Faces.
Yeah.
So he was already like in my mind. I was like, oh, he made it.
the man.
Yeah. And he emailed me and he was like, hey man, I wanna rec you for Unwrapped JFL this year. Like, what's your email? And he like connected me with the founder, who came out to be a racist misogynist. But but at the time we didn't know. And
We had an idea.
I remember I started like tearing up a little bit because I was like, nobody
believes in me.
First of all, I'm always crying. I'm a little bitch. I'm a little bitch Asian, as I just told. But
As you did.
but it's like, it's nice when other people look out for you. And I feel like specifically being an Asian comedian, like, not a lot of people always do you a solid. Like Ronnie Chang obviously does, but like he's kind of it for me at least. And him,
I agree with
him and
you.
JR, and obviously you and I try to help out people, and that's not true. Like a lot of our peers will be like, "Hey, I can't do the show. Go hit up Fumi or Mike." That happens. But like a solid, like an industry solid. That doesn't happen very often, if you're an Asian comic. So, anyways, love this man. So happy to have him on. He's a comedian writer.
So excited.
Certified lover boy is what I have written here. You can see stand up on Comedy Central and Netflix. Get up for the amazing, altruistic J.R. de Guzman, everybody. J.R. de Guzman.
What's up, man? I love that anecdote.
Bro.
Dude, I love that.
That's
intro.
how we met.
Do you remember this? How was yours? Where were you? What was your going? What was going through your mind when you were writing this email?
I do remember. Because Fumi, where had I seen you on before that? Was it the stand-up NBC stuff, or was something before that?
You got it before me, so like I don't think it was that. Maybe I met you in San Francisco.
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like
right.
Asian comics just kind of know each other. So when I saw you, we were both like, oh, we both know who we are. Yeah.
Well, I just thought you were so funny too, man. And like you had I could see right away there was like something, and it's that thing where people help me out too. So I always wanted to help other people out.
Yeah.
And then I would always, to this day, I'll always recommend you to any industry person that's like slightly racist. Like that's like if
some guy is like, hey man, I was at the Capitol riots, and you're like, dude, I know a guy perfect for your show, man. It's gonna be great.
I got him.
I got you.
I love that.
I love that. No, that's awesome, man. Thanks for bringing. I kind of forgot that back then that we had that experience. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I imagined you also referred to other people, but it's one of those things where like it wasn't a big deal for you, but it was a very big deal for me. You know what I mean?
Oh, man. No, it is a big deal for me. It's still important because like to recommend someone, I feel like that's putting your own credibility on the line too.
Yeah,
yeah.
So it was really important, like who I recommended and everything.
Yeah,
it was more so just like. It was a little while ago, so I forgot. I was trying to remember when the exact show was that we met, and then I forgot about that story.
Yeah. Well, man, glad we could have you on. JR, I want to start here. You heard my little bitch Asian story.
Yeah.
I mean, there's more I want to say, but I just want to throw it to you first. Like, have you been in a situation like that where like you're in a weird thing where somebody's, you felt like maybe you should say something because someone's being picked on, or you feel like what's happening is not right, but you don't do it in the moment, or maybe you do. I don't know. What do you think?
Sure. Well, to comment on that, like one, I cry all the time. I cried last night.
Did you?
I cried.
About what?
Why?
I was watching Coda. Have you seen that movie?
No. What's it
It's
about?
this
Oh
girl.
no. I don't. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's like an indie movie. This girl's like an excellent singer. She doesn't really know that she can sing well, and because she grew up in a family of like her whole family's deaf, and they don't fully like understand her like pursuit of music and stuff, and it hit me in so many different ways, whether it was like an artist or like Asian families sort of like codependency stuff where you're always have to be connected with your family. So oh my god, like I don't know if it's an Asian thing too, because there were white people in the movie. I think I was crying the hardest. And I was like, oh my, they're like supporting her dreams but not.
Wow.
And but back to this thing with the that situation, I have been in that, and like, I don't know. I was also like, while you were telling the story, I wonder if it's even more so like an Asian masculinity thing where like, I don't know if growing up, I always felt like sensitive to the places where I might not have been as like masculine, you know, as I could have been.
Sure.
And then it's like, and then I almost feel like it hits me even harder where I'm like, oh shit, like I need to be a man in this situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
When it's like in reality, you know, Fumi, I think you probably did something totally normal where it's like you're in a realm where you're the guest and you don't know these people, and also you're like trying to promote something. It's like this balance. So I think what you did is totally fine as a man.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I think like
not a very masculine man, but as a man, I think
here's the thing. Like, here's a couple more things I want to say. I think a lot of times, I ended up messaging this person later. I DM'd her later, and I just said like, this is such a fucking cuck move. Now that I'm fucking saying it, but I DM'd her, and I was just like, hey, I don't really know what to say, but like, I feel like I should have stepped in. I'm sorry. Like, I also was very uncomfortable, and I don't like what they're doing to you. But like, I hope you guys work it out. I'm not coming for anybody. I don't know y'all like that, but just wanted to put that out there, and thanks for having me or whatever. And she was like, oh, I really, really appreciate this message. You know, we're like family, so sometimes it gets weird, but you know, we talked it out. It's all cool. And apparently, I guess from the guy's perspective, they were telling me like that she gets picked on a lot in the comments, and so they were trying to protect her from saying something that could possibly offend people in watching YouTube. That was like sort of their thing. So I think that's why they were trying to like extra clarify that she wasn't representing all women or whatever. But you know, this is I'm about to say something kind of problematic. This girl was like, she's like an Instagram model or something. Like, she's very, very attractive, and I think sometimes sometimes people forget that like hot people have feelings too. You know what I mean? Yeah. Does that make, you know what I mean? I think sometimes like in the comments and stuff, and even in that moment, sometimes you see somebody who's very beautiful or like looks confident, and you're like, oh, this person doesn't need me. He or she can handle the situation. And then they can't. Right. They can't, you know, because they're also just fucking people, and they're kind of being bullied. And yeah, I don't know, man. I just like, I don't know. What would you have done? What would you have done in that moment? I guess I wanted to pose this question to you guys. Like, how do you, should I have said something? And also like messaging someone later, that's like whatever. I think in that moment I was like, maybe I need to be a person who says more things live. And
I guess like, what is the thing you wish had happened? And do you think that is a possible thing? Because like, I don't know about y'all, but whenever I'm just on the train, I'm always thinking, I've told Fumi this many times. Okay, I have two fantasies. One is I'm a Navy SEAL. And two is I live in the mountains in a van or something like that. And I'm just like one with nature doing yoga all the time. Okay. And I'm always thinking like, man, I could be a total badass and like kick so much ass, right? Because that's just what kind of insecure Asian dude I am, right? Like I think a lot of guys think this. Is there a fantasy where Fumi like rips his shirt off, he's jacked, and is just like, yo, fuck you, hey girl, get on the back of my Harley, we're fucking right now. You know, like what is the fantasy?
So
yeah. Also, the fact that she was really hot and like an Instagram model and all that stuff, it added so much to the story that I understand.
It does
now.
really add,
because it makes it like Fumi really wants to like, you know, protect her and all these things.
It really wasn't.
Fumi
like,
doesn't like protecting unattractive people. We all know this.
He was like, she'll figure it out.
She's fine.
No. It wasn't. When I said it, I didn't feel manly. I didn't mean it in a macho way. Like truly, it felt like I was watching my little sister get bullied, and I'm just sitting there watching it, you know. And what I really, to your question, what I really wanted to happen is for the podcast to continue, and we continue to talk about my balls, so I can plug my goddamn podcast. That's what I wanted.
Always business minded. Fumi's always business minded.
It kind of slipped out of your control, and you wish you had like, okay, I should have done something differently to go back that way.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just like, ha, look at me, I'm so dumb, and then like, let's go back into talking about like, what it's like doing stand up on Colbert, or like talk about me, you know, like
this is about me.
This is about me. It's really what I'm trying to say.
No, I respect that. I respect the shit out of that.
This girl crying and running away really ruined your vibe a little bit. It's like, damn.
This person being emotionally abused, man, it's just ruined my good times, man. You know? I feel that. JR, what do you feel? Because I feel like, and this is even doubly so for you because you're like a musician and comedian.
But
I feel like
fucking Filipino, bro. They got the whole they got the toxic thing going.
You got a whole thing. But like I always feel like if we were all players in a Dungeons and Dragons like role-playing game, we all selected Bard, okay? We all put all of our points into charisma, singings, bards. We have our effect in battle is like to give the actual fighter good energy. You know what I'm saying? That's our that's our energy.
Dude, it's such a sad.
Yo, my boy, that's my boy. You know what I'm saying? I'm hitting the loot as hard as possible.
Yeah.
But then and then if we fight, our main weapon, my main weapon, I definitely is I'm willing to make a fool of myself. Such that no one else, if you want to make it awkward, I'll make it awkward. I will take a shit right here, now, in order to break the tension. You know what I'm saying? That's like I'm okay with that. And most people are not okay with that. Yeah. And I think, the other day I was having dinner, and I've talked about this guy before. The devil's advocate guy. There's a devil's advocate guy I know, and he's always making arguments with people, sometimes just to make the argument. Yeah. And it was him and there were three women, and they were arguing about something, and it was getting kind of it wasn't bad. It wasn't, but he was definitely making the argument just to kind of make the argument. and I just jumped in there, and I was just like making stupid jokes. And it was like, and I was just trying to like, here's a little like, check this out.
You're like lube. You're like lube. You're trying to like, I'm
lubing it.
You're lubing it.
I'm lubing. I'm hitting the lube as far as possible.
Imagining them discussing something really serious, like what's happening in Texas right now, and then you just going up and being like,
I'm just like that. Because here's the thing. Because
abortion.
Because that like if people sometimes, I mean, when an argument starts, you don't like intend to get into like this really big heated thing, but you can start, and all of a sudden it like went down a path that all of a sudden everyone's real pissed. You know what I'm saying? And so what you're trying to do is you're trying to like you're hitting the I'm hitting the loot as hard as possible. Get out of there. That's what I try to do. But JR, what do you think? You know what I'm saying?
I think, I get that, because it's sort of picking and choosing your battles. Because, one, I've always asked people, like, in a zombie apocalypse, like, what would they be? How would they survive? So the Dungeons and Dragons example is great, because it's like the men are going off to war. And we're
dude.
Singing songs about the war.
Yeah.
The men are off to fight, and we will make the porridge. Like that kind of thing.
We're making porridge, baby.
Oh my god! But you know what? It's funny. Is like I'm working on I'm reading this. This is the thing. I'm in a weird place right now because I'm reading this book called "You Can Heal Your Life" by Louise Hay. It's fine. I should be promoting my stuff, but I'm promoting self-help books.
Yeah.
Because I have like a stack of self-help
Such a
books
bard move, by the way. Yeah, you're barding other people. You're just giving other people buffs. Everybody else gets buffs.
Yeah, you're in the foxhole, giving people self-help books.
Yeah. You're healing other people like
I'm
crazy.
Like, we wouldn't have to fight this war if we just healed all of our lives. Look inward.
You're giving buffs to the enemy. You're healing them. Oh man. Okay. Anyway, so so you're reading this book.
Yeah. So it's funny because like I'm trying to like, I mean, comedy is so like self-deprecating, right? But I'm like seeing where like Fumi, right? So like I'm a bitch Asian. I'm like, no, Fumi, you're a strong, vulnerable, emotionally comfortable Asian.
Whoa. Such a good bit, by the way. Great bit. Yeah. Go ahead.
Such a great bit.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's gonna be so funny.
No, that's funny, man. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is like, but then I worry on stage, right? It's like, well, if I'm all like about healing myself and working on my like negative self-talk, then like on stage, will people want to hear about that? It's like, oh, this guy's got it. This guy's got it together.
Yeah.
But then I know that we never really do. But going back to the bard thing, on that thing, because Mike, I know you do jujitsu, right?
Oh hell yeah.
See, you'd be out there fighting too, though. You'd be entertaining and fighting.
No, here's the thing. My favorite move.
As well.
I do. Yeah. We were going to talk about that. Can I guess?
Is your favorite move de-escalating the situation?
Yes. My favorite move, and this is for real. This is for real. We're going to get into jujitsu. Okay, we're going to get into jujitsu just a second here. Yeah. Okay. I always hear this.
Such a burn, bro.
There's a guy. John Danaher, right? He's like the big jiu-jitsu guy.
Legend.
He's an MMA like coach as well. He always says that if you're a good person, jiu-jitsu will make you better. If you're a bad person, jiu-jitsu will make you worse.
Ooh.
Because it just emphasizes the things you like, which makes perfect sense. Because for me, I'm all about efficiency. I'm like, I want to do as want to get as most as I can without doing as little as I can. So I'm very lazy. And I also I do like to de-escalate. I like to slow things down. So my favorite move, I swear to God, this is it. Okay, there's a thing you can do in Jujitsu where you're not supposed to do this. You turtle, which means you go face down and you curl up into a ball. And you're not supposed to do this because you're showing your back to the opponent, and they can like get on your back and they can control you and they can choke you. But if you get really good at it, and I've watched there's this guy, his name is Pete Michelson. He's all about the turtle. And he talks about how actually people can turtle all the time. Wrestlers turtle a lot. But what you can do is you can turtle, and if you like hold your elbows in a certain place and you're doing the right thing, it's hard for the person to control you, and it's very frustrating because they can't get on top of you, they can't choke you. And I've been doing that a lot, and I'm getting better and better at it. And so I'll just be sitting there like curled up into a ball, and like I'm defending, and I'm just like, man, if anybody saw me, they'd just be like, wow, Mike just curled up into a ball and got his ass kicked.
Gosh.
But then I get up and I'm like, hey, I'm fine, guys. You know, that's my move. I really do.
I'm not gonna
slow
lie.
them down.
I was in turtle for so long in a round yesterday, so I trained yesterday. I was in turtle for so long, and the whole time I was thinking like, man, I wish I was in an offensive like position. But I'm comfortable here. Like I kind of like
Dude, I'm so comfortable. I got a book. I'm reading my book. I got my phone.
You're checking Instagram.
I'm checking Instagram. I'm so good at turtle, dude. I'm like making food.
Damn.
But I do like to turtle. But here's the thing about turtle too, and this really is how I also do like approach a lot of the problems. Is that like I'll wait, because what per turtle does is that it frustrates the person, and then they make a mistake, and then I will capitalize on the mistake. So what happens a lot is I'm turtling, and then they'll put one thing they'll do is they'll like go for the underhook on the far side. That's a mistake if I can get their elbow. And I roll them over, and then I roll them over, and then I'm all of a sudden on top, and I'm like, "What's good now, bitch?"
Right.
I put my book away. I'm like, "Yo," I'm like, "I've been resting this whole time while you were wasting your energy."
No,
but
for
I
sure.
do that a lot. I'll like, you know, sometimes when people argue, I'll do this at work when people are doing stuff. I'll just wait until I get more information, and then I'll go, and then I drop my fucking deuce on them.
See, I think that's a perfect description of even being in the conflict. I love using jiu-jitsu as a metaphor for this stuff, because I've never really been the person to react right away. And I do respect when people can do it and be emotionally like open, but like logical at the same time, not just like a loose cannon completely. But I'm the same way. Like in a situation, I would probably wait because I don't necessarily know who's right yet. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to take a side. Yeah. Like you
Yeah.
take a side, and then all of a sudden you realize like, oh, this is a racist executive. I shouldn't have. I should have waited for that.
I should have waited. I shouldn't have sided with Brian right away. My bad.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me feel better. So I guess waiting was an okay move, because I did find out more information later about how like, oh, we were just trying to protect her because she gets attacked in the comments, so that's why we were.
And then you did like, instead of just letting it completely go, you did reach out to the people and let your feelings be known. It wasn't like you turtled forever.
Guys, if you're listening to this podcast, or honestly, anals, if you're watching this podcast on YouTube, we have a YouTube channel, by the way, you're probably wondering, God damn, why does Fumi and Mike look so good all the time? Their hair is perfect, especially Mike. And honestly, I bet they smell so good. I kind of want to take a whiff of their armpits. Well, if you're feeling that way, I'll tell you why we look and smell that way. It is because of Hawthorne. Hawthorne is a premium men's grooming brand that makes it quick and easy to be confidently your best, with skincare and hair care made just for you. They use data from hundreds of thousands of customers to recommend perfect products for your body chemistry, skin type, hair type, and lifestyle. First, take Hawthorne's quiz. They ask me things like, how often do I shower? If you're white, I think that's like once a month. You know, what kind of quality is my skin? Is it dry? Is it oily? What kind of drinks do I like? Do I smoke? What is my ideal dinner date? All that stuff like that. I ended up getting the essential bundle, and it came with things like work cologne, play cologne, stain-free deodorant, foaming shave gel, sensitive body wash, and clarifying shampoo. Let them recommend a face cleanser, so lean on Hawthorne to upgrade your body wash, shampoo, and deodorant. Hawthorne stands by the customer, so if you're not completely satisfied, they'll retailer your products for free based on your feedback and pay for the shipping. So there's truly no risk. So make sure you're ready for anything or anyone that comes your way by taking Hawthorne's quiz today. Go to hawthorne.co and use promo code NOTAsian to get 10% off your first purchase. That's HAWTHORNE.co, promo code NOTAsian. Hawthorne.co, promo code not Asian. In 2021, a truly diversified portfolio needs more than the traditional mix of stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. It needs private real estate, baby. Studies have shown that portfolios with an allocation to private real estate generally delivered a better risk adjustment return with more annual income and lower volatility over the past 2 decades, thanks to its track record of consistent performance through multiple market cycles. With FUNDRISE, this level of powerful diversification is now available to you. FUNDRISE provides access to diversified portfolios of private real estate to all investors with their industry-leading, easy-to-use platform. Whether you're looking to add stable cash flow via dividends or prefer long-term growth through application, FUNDRISE makes investing in private real estate as easy as investing in stocks, bonds, or mutual funds. FUNDRISE's team of real estate professionals carefully vets and actively manages all of their real estate projects. And with their easy-to-use website, you can track your portfolio's performance and watch as properties across the country are acquired, improved, and operated via dynamic asset updates. Anos, if you listen to this podcast, you know Mike and I, all we want to do is get rich. All we want to do is get rich and invest, but we don't know anything about investment because I studied music and I forget what Mike studied at UC Berkeley. But this app takes care of it all. It's really easy to use, and the app kind of takes care of everything for you. I know investing can be like a big black box, but they just kind of take care of it for you, and it's a good time. See for yourself how 150,000 investors have built a better portfolio with private real estate. It takes just a few minutes to get started. Go to fundrise.com/Asian today. That's FUNDRISE.com/Asian. Fundrise.com/Asian. Well, JR, we wanted to ask you, because we get to share our stories. I wanted to ask you, what kind of Asian were you this week?
Man, well, I was a sensitive Asian this week.
Okay.
Specifically with, like, I did a lot of self-care too. Self-care and sensitivity.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I could have reached that place of peak crying yesterday. Man, it felt so good. Dude, does it feel good for you, Fumi, to cry? Or is it more like, I don't want this?
It depends on, if I cry, like, during a movie, it does feel pretty good to cry, unless, like, Mike is near me, which sometimes he is for some reason. Like, a lot of times when I cry, Mike is, like, kind of close to me. I don't know why. But sometimes, like, I'll cry. Like, when I cried when you emailed me, that was, like, an unexpected cry. And then I'm, like, embarrassed that I'm crying, and I start laughing. And then I look like the Joker.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, because you're crying. And I've been there
laughing.
too.
Yeah.
There's a thing with, like, feelings where it's like you feel a feeling and you're like, you don't want to feel the feeling. So,
Yeah.
You let out a weird sound.
Yeah, for sure.
But-
JR, have you always been more of a crying crier?
No. So I think in my recent years, I have been, like, more in touch with my feelings, you know?
Okay.
And usually I would laugh right there. I'd probably laugh. I'd probably say that and then laugh.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so like this week, like I've been on the road for quite a while, like the last month or so, just doing shows.
Oh.
And so this week I was like, all right, I'm going to be home. I got a massage. I went to the chiropractor, been training, doing jujitsu again.
Hell yeah.
Went to like a bathhouse. It's not a sexual thing, by the way. Have you guys been to a bathhouse?
Yeah.
Because every time I say that, people are like, yeah, this guy goes to bathhouses.
This guy knows. You're still toxic. You're still toxic, bro. Yeah.
But I went to a bath. So just like feeling so relaxed this week, just like taking care of myself. And then I saw Coda, and oh my God, it felt so good.
Just let it all out, man.
Dude, if there were literally only 4 other people in the movie theater, because I don't know if is it bad to be going out and having fun? Because I know it's like COVID's still there. But
I think it depends. But yeah,
we saw a movie recently. It's fine.
We saw a movie.
Cool.
We were going to talk about that now.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi,
baby.
Hell yeah. Okay, I want to talk about that too. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But
you haven't? Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was like 4 people in the theater, and I was just like letting it out. If they weren't there, I would have gone so much harder into that.
Really?
Session.
Ooh.
Oh my God. Because it
just
felt
taking
like,
your shirt off, just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Let it all out.
Like, you know, like when you cry and you see, like, you're crying about the thing that's happening in front of you.
Yeah.
But then you see old shit that you didn't cry about, like from when you're 7.
Yes.
Fuck.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, let me let that out too. I'm gonna cry about that. And like, oh yeah, that girl fucking broke my heart, man. And I just like wanted to let them all out in this movie theater. And then I was like, no, I should probably focus on this one thing.
Dude,
Okay.
That's
I'll save those for
so
later. You know,
real,
it's like,
man.
it's like the crying spank bank. You know, just put that for.
Yeah.
I'll cry about that one later, girl.
It is like
you know?
jerking off because I've had jerking off sessions at night. I don't hope Brian,
Sessions,
Brian,
Jesus Christ. Damn.
It's a
You're such a
session.
musician, bro. You're
It's
like
recording.
you're in the booth.
You're naked. There's rugs everywhere.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
And you're just like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
you got 4 different laptops
I
going.
have headphones
oh my
on
God.
for some reason like this.
I
too.
know.
Yeah.
You're the
Just
sound.
like-
You're the SoundCloud fapper, as they say.
SoundCloud Fapper.
Fapper, baby. I'm a
Oh my God.
But yeah, like it is
my
like jerking
God.
off because like when you're jerking off and you're focused on, dude, I don't know if there's overshares on here. I always
Go
talk
ahead.
about how I mix up therapy and podcasting because
Sure.
I do my therapy on Zoom now, so this feels
Same.
Oh
like,
my God.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just have 2 therapists here.
Well, I think this week we want to kind of get in with like
We do
mental
wanna talk
health and
about
anxiety stuff. Mike's got a thing he wants to say, so I think this is totally on theme. So
This is perfect.
Go ahead,
Dude,
open up.
I'm like the last 3 years I feel like I've been constantly on this like mental health journey of just like healing everything. So I love talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
But jerking
So you're
off,
having a jerking off session. You're having a session.
Yeah.
it relates. Trust me, it relates.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
stopped watching porn. I haven't really been like
Oh,
stopped.
okay. I know what you mean.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you?
Yeah,
I didn't
I
do that.
Yeah.
Dude,
Okay. Yeah. I guess we're cheers. Coffee cheers about jerking off.
Yeah.
Hey, it's funny because your coffee looked like censored too, right there because of the blur.
Oh yeah. It does look. Yeah. That's a penis.
Yeah.
I call that going organic. You know.
Yeah,
I call that
dude.
going organic. You know.
Oh, dude, that's what I'm doing. As I'm going organic, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's,
dude,
I've never
you
heard
know?
it called that. I feel like free trade right now.
Yeah, dude. It's. I feel like with a lot of porn, it's just like, it's so, it's so produced, I guess, or. You know what I'm saying? You really what you're looking for with porn is you're looking to feel something and you're like looking for a connection. And I think as you get older, you really are looking for that. There's no such, I don't know if there's such a thing as porn of like someone telling you that everything's going to be okay. You know what I'm saying?
Dude,
Like, there needs to be
I've
some of
jerked
that.
off once. I don't think I've ever said this to another living human person. I jerked off once to one of those YouTube like affirmation things.
Yo, absolutely. Absolutely.
Dude, I think when I came, I was like a new person. I like transformed.
Yo, this is the kind of, and I mean, the talk we really need to talk about. For real.
Yeah.
Nobody's
talking about this.
Yeah, do you guys talk about this stuff on the podcast? Is this the least like
No.
mentally healthy progress? Okay, cool.
No, we need to be.
No,
talking
I think this
about
is
it.
perfect. Well, because sometimes when I'm doing my thing, and then like when I'm like done, like weird, it's like my brain, the doors all open for a little bit, and like
Yeah.
different things will come out of the woodwork during the what do you call it? Wisdom time, Fumi?
Oh, philosopher time.
Philosopher time.
Philosopher time.
Just like
What is-
weird
what
things
is
will come
philosopher
out.
time?
It's
What is
like
that?
I think in English, like Americans call it post nut clarity, but
Yeah.
in Japanese
Yeah.
it's spelled philosopher time.
Okay.
Because you like,
I love that.
you can kind of reassess the world in like a very neutral way. You
Well,
know?
see, there's something
Yeah.
that because in every culture there's an explanation of what that feeling is.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
must be so like hero's journey archetypal of like the post.
Yeah, it really is.
There was a philosopher, I think a Greek philosopher, who got syphilis, and this relates.
I'm
trust
in.
me.
No,
I'm
the
in.
philosopher, his name was Syphilis. Yeah, that was
Okay,
true.
I was about to say, was it syphilis?
Was it
Am I
syphilis?
mixing the two up? That's where it came from. And after that, he talked about how when he couldn't have sex anymore, it brought out so much clarity for the rest of his life because he
Whoa.
wasn't putting all his focus just on that, like on sex, basically.
for sure.
Yeah.
So there's something there. Not that sex is bad. I think it can be good too.
I
But,
think like
right.
I've also heard like asexual. I don't know if this is true or not, but I have like some friends who are asexual or identify as asexual, and they are all like CEOs now. You know what I mean? Like they all
No way.
they
Yeah.
all own like their own business. They're like extremely focused. And I always was just thinking
Yeah.
about like how many hours we spend just dealing with our boners, watching porn, watching MILFs get
Dude.
stuck. If we could take
Yeah,
back those
those are
hours,
I think
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
slowly
That's a lot
starting
of
to
time.
mention this on every pod, but I didn't jerk off for like a year. I took a break.
That's amazing.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Isn't it weird? Like,
I mean,
that's always
yeah.
the response I get. Like, it's always like,
Well, how did you deal with it when you got horny? You just go for a run?
dude, I would go for a run, make
Yeah.
a phone call,
That's easier.
tell somebody that I'm
Man.
trying not to. Man, the phone
Yeah.
call is the most powerful.
And your
Well,
mom's like,
never
why?
call me, JR. Yeah. You ever call me?
when
he's like,
JR's
hey,
calling
Mike,
ya.
Mike was just thinking about you. Just wondering what you're up to.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it.
dude. Anytime I call you guys, you'll know what's up. Wow, this
Yeah,
guy's
yeah.
just
Yeah.
trying not to
It's like,
jerk
oh, this guy's trying not to jerk off.
Listen, Mike, you know me on the podcast. I like to laugh like an insane person, spread joy through jokes and inappropriate comments. But is that how I feel on the inside in 2020? Absolutely not, Mike.
No, man.
It's a dark mess in here, dude. Sometimes I'm really sad. Sometimes I'm a little depressed. I'm really stressed. You know, and I think a lot of people with the pandemic, they're not really sure about job security. And that's a huge source of stress for a lot of people. And I think if any of our listeners feel this way, they should check out our sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist.
Connect in a safe and private online environment. It's so convenient.
You can start communicating in under 24 hours.
This isn't self-help, it's professional counseling.
Send a message to your counselor anytime.
You'll get timely and thoughtful responses, plus you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions.
Woo! All without ever having to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room. You know how those waiting rooms can be, bro.
BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change counselors if you need it.
And it's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available.
Licensed professional counselors who specialize in depression, stress, anxiety, relationships, sleeping, trauma, anger, family conflicts, LGBT matters, grief, and self-esteem.
I want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/Asian. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Asian.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this thing, and I have talked to some other comedians about this, specifically with Pranav, who from Mango Bay, and he's like he's got this whole thing that he's doing, you know, with his like sort of he's on this big long philosophy journey, and he was like, I was like, what is the goal of a lot of this philosophy, meditation and stuff? And he's like, liberation, right? Which I think is such a cool idea, and as soon as he said that, I knew exactly what he was talking about, because I feel a lot of times we're just like trapped in not just our minds and in the world, but just like I don't feel like free to do a lot of stuff. I feel like there's a lot of, you know, you get that Monday feeling and you're like, okay, I have to go along and do things. And it's a lot of stuff I do want to do, but I feel like I have less of a choice. And it's really came to a head at this cool comedy prom. I was at this cool comedy prom that Asko was kind of hosting. All these cool people were there. Everybody was...
It was Asian prom, right?
Super
Asian
nice.
prom.
Asian prom. It was
prom.
Asian prom, quote unquote. There was a lot of folks there. SJ was there. Woody was there. Ed Popsky was there. All these folks. So it was cool to see everyone, and everyone. A lot of our friends are doing amazing things. Some people are getting writing jobs. People are like getting roles, actors, and stuff like that. And I've been trying to deal with this kind of feeling I've had recently where I don't feel like super happy, right? And I know it's the pandemic, and I know it's a lot of stuff. And sometimes I'll just like, I don't know if you guys ever try to do this. I'll just write stuff down, like just write, and I'm talking to myself. I'll write something down, and then I'm almost like not arguing, but like counterpointing myself, and I'll just keep writing it down. I did this, and it came to this kind of like epiphany where I want everyone to be successful, but then I also myself want to be successful. And I think sometimes recently that's been a problem, because I used to do comedy for fun. And it was like, my mantra was always like, I'm going to work and chase the spark of creativity. And it's okay if I don't get anything, because I was expecting nothing. So anything I got was a bonus. But now I want something. And in a way, and I don't know if this is good or bad. I think it's bad, but I don't know. I also feel, this is a recent thing, I feel I deserve it. Yeah. I deserve success.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to get an ego, and I used to feel I didn't have an ego. I used to be like, hey man, I'm a comedian. I'm just gonna make jokes, ha ha ha. And if I get something, great. And if I don't, no problem. But now I feel like, oh, I deserve success. I deserve this. When I see other people get it, I'm like, good for them. I don't wish ill on anyone, but I feel like, oh, when's it my turn?
Yeah.
And it's starting to stress me out, and it's like, it's a gross feeling. I don't know.
I don't think it's gross. I don't think it's gross. I
feel that.
I mean, shit, man. We spend so many hours doing comedy-related things. I drag you to so many fucking things. You wouldn't be doing this if you didn't get something out of it. It's not. I think that you even feeling gross for wanting something, there's something there. You need to get over that. I think, because let's be real. We're adults. We're trying to eat. We're trying to buy homes, right? Like what is so wrong with you wanting to make a living? Writing jokes about piss, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Also, you know me, I'm your biggest cheerleader. Like, people also feel that you deserve it too. Like, I don't think you're not the only one who thinks that. You know what I mean? Like, other people are like thinking about you too. Like, oh, why hasn't anything happened to him? It's not you're not crazy for having this thought, for sure. I know that for a fact. You know,
Right.
So I guess like I can't do anything to relieve the anxiety. All I can say is like,
Oh, you can. No,
I
okay,
mean,
sorry. Go ahead.
we'll get JR on the phone and we'll start
I'll give you a call. Yeah, we'll get a FaceTime going.
Yeah,
Okay,
and like,
yeah.
but all I can say is, even if you get something, because fuck, man, I was really down these past 2 weeks, until I saw Shang-Chi actually, and we'll talk about that later. But like, I wasn't like suicidal, but I was like, what does this even all mean? You know, like I definitely, and I can tell you that because I think for me, you know, I have an opportunity right now, but we had this like meeting, and you know, like the show may not even exist a year and a half from now, and you know, I was talking to some writers, and they were like, yeah, sometimes like the executive producer pulls me in, they're like, hey, why haven't you got anything on the show in the last 6 weeks? You know, and
word.
If that, like, I just knowing that all this could just go away in a second, caused a lot of anxiety, and also just like I feel powerless. You know, just like what I'm here, I'm trying my best, and yet someone could really change my life if they wanted to at a snap of a finger. You know.
Well, I mean, what you say exactly, the powerlessness is what I don't. I hate the feeling of. I don't like gatekeepers. I don't like when I'm supposed to jump through this hoop. I always felt that I felt good because when you do stand up, a lot of times it's just you and you have power there on the stage. But as I want more things, I feel like I have to, not like kowtow to people, but just like I know that if I want something, I might have to do something. And I feel then the power is out of my hands a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I have to give up some stuff in order to get some stuff. Mm-hmm. So I totally feel you, because when you have a podcast and you do your own live show, hey, that's on you. You can do whatever you want. Yeah. But then, if you want to do this other thing, now it's in someone else's hands. Yeah. And they can give it to you or not give it to you. And that's that's a feeling. I hate that feeling. And instinctually, and I think this is probably something that's hurt me a lot, is like I'll instinctually just not want it. I'll just be like, oh, I don't want that then. Yeah. I'll just walk away, you know? And I think I've walked away from things, and I think that's hurt me. Not in comedy, but just in general. Like I've just been, oh, I want this, I don't want this, I'll walk away from it. And but now I'm like, I really have to come to terms with that. I do want this. Yeah. But how do I sort of square that feeling, that weird feeling in my stomach? You should.
Yeah. I mean, JR, what do you think about all that?
Well, I was gonna say, to affirm you also, like, I think there's probably a lot of things that you're doing that people are looking at and make them also feel like, oh, I want to have this feeling. Yeah. But I think I appreciate you like sharing that too, because it is really like, I think that's such a relatable thing that a lot of comics go through. I know I've gone through that, and it's like, but we don't always like share it or talk about it in that open way. Yeah. But like, I was literally at the gym the other day, and I had to like, for some reason, having this realization with like feelings I've had in my comedy career and like the gym, like working out. Yeah. Where I had to be like, you know what, the feeling of there is room for everybody. That whole thing, and for what I want to do, because there's like this jacked dude at the gym, right? Like he was like shadow boxing and all this stuff. Yeah. And I don't know why I was like starting to like hate this dude. I'm like, bro, like calm down,
Calm, chill, buddy. Yeah,
chill the fuck out. But then I realized, like, you know what? If that's what that is what makes him feel fulfilled at the gym, I don't want to do that, but he wants to do that. Go ahead, get it, and do your thing. Yeah. And for some reason, I started to relate it to my comedy career. Where like when somebody gets something, like I know what you mean, that like it feels disgusting, but I think it is natural to, like Fumi was saying, where like I'm happy for them, but I also feel like, oh, like it makes me really think about everything in my career. Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. Where I'm like, wait, am I on the right path, or like, am I doing all like the things to the best of my potential? And then that question that I've always wondered why that comes. It's like, because I feel like I've done a lot of things in my career, but then I'll have this thing. I'm like, oh, when is my thing? Whatever that is. I don't know what it is that I'm waiting for. Is it like to be like have a certain kind of career, a certain like, level, like making a certain amount of money, a certain amount of fame, whatever. Yeah. And that's where I try to return back to also like, well, why did I start this? What was fun about it? And I like, let me just go there and start there, and then figure out like what that could lead to. But it is scary. Like whenever I feel it, I'm always just like, all right, let me just take a step back. I don't want that to take over. Because then I've seen a lot of comics like get bitter at a certain point too.
Yeah.
Right.
I really want to avoid that.
I do want to avoid that.
I also want to say like this is very, and I'm painting with a broad brush here, but like this is a very Asian thing because I promise you, because most of my friends in comedy are white and like they don't feel guilty for wanting things. Here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. Like Mike, what you're saying to me is you want to be a professional comedy writer or comedy person.
Right.
Why can't you just comfortably say that? Like why, you know what I mean? Like, and I know exactly what you're talking about because I still feel the way sometimes, but like, damn, I mean, it probably all goes back to our parents telling us we ain't shit. But like, it's like you think you're almost 40 and you think you don't deserve this job. It's a fucking job, Mike. It's just a job. You're not asking to be in the Avengers. You just want to write some stupid jokes.
If you wanted to be in the Avengers, you could. Like there is something to that. Like imagining that you're deserving of that, the dream. And it's weird because it feels like we have to be humble. You have to be humble.
I've always had that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've always gotten that. I think I got that a lot from, my parents. And I got it a lot from like martial arts teachers. They're like, you got to be humble. You can never show anyone. And I remember I watched that show Hacks.
Yeah.
You guys seen that show?
Yeah.
Great. It's a really good show. Very feel good in a weird way. And then, but there's a scene in it where the main character, she's like a comedy writer, comedy person, and she's talking to like this comedy legend, and she says, you know what, I'm really good at this, right? And in my mind, I was immediately like, I would never say that. I would never say I'm good.
Oh my God.
I never would say it in my mind.
Yeah.
Dude, has anyone ever asked you this? You tell them you're a comedian, they go, you funny? Has anyone said that to you?
Yeah.
And then what do you say?
Okay.
I always go, I don't know.
I'm okay.
And like I've been doing it 8 years.
Okay.
I've been on TV.
Yeah.
I go, I don't know. And I can't get myself to be like, yeah, I'm fucking funny. Like I can't.
Yeah.
But even though that's the truth, like JR's on the road, he's on TV, he's on Netflix. He was touring with Joe Coy. Like, yes, he is a professional comedian. Of course he's funny. That's like the minimum requirement for this fucking job. But when a civilian, just a rando, goes, you funny?
Rando.
You can't even say yes.
I can't even really say it. I really don't like saying it.
What is that?
I don't like to brag about it. I don't. I always feel like I only would say that I'm like, oh, I'm a little bit better than an open micer, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Clearly, you know what I'm saying? I can never really say I'm good.
Yeah.
At something at that. You know what I'm saying?
I think about it like what, and I because I relate with this too in my current life. It's like, what is the worst that would happen of just being confident in how good you or we or I are, at this?
I'm always afraid of being like, a fraud, I guess, right? I'm always afraid of like, oh, that guy wasn't that funny or whatever the fuck.
Like they come to
it's
a
like
show
a weird
after
thing
you
to
say
say.
that, and it's not a good set.
Yeah, like look how awesome I am or whatever the fuck. And of course, we've all had like shitty shows or whatever. But we know that if we have a shitty show, it's not even necessarily because we weren't funny or not. It could have just been because
there's a fire truck parked next door.
There's a fire truck parked right next door. So a dog took a shit on the stage. Whatever the fuck it is. But it's a weird thing where it's so hard to just say I'm worthy of this thing. I should get this. I'm better than these other people. That's another thing. I try not to say that. And maybe you shouldn't say that in comedy, whatever. But like other people will get stuff and you're like, okay, cool. I guess I just gotta try harder or whatever the fuck it is. So yeah, I don't know if it's an Asian thing. I don't know if it's a whatever straight dudes at the gym thing, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like even just looking at somebody like all the things that you guys are doing right now, you guys think about it, like you are in sort of like the top percentage of even comedy. And it's hard to really look at that. It's like living in America versus like living in a third world country or something.
Sure.
Where it's like the fact that you're able to build a following, make money doing comedy, like get credits, do all these and all this stuff and work professionally in comedy is like the top thing, and it's something to be proud of. And it's like it's so easy to start to like try to devalidate that.
Right.
And I'm like speaking from my own experience too, where like I have to, like when I have a conversation on the plane with somebody, like I sense that part of me that like needs to prove it to them that I'm a real comedian.
Yeah.
And then I step back, dude. It's so funny. Like I'm reading this "You Can Heal Your Life" book because it's like, and then dude, I literally been telling myself in my head, right in those moments, I'm like, JR, I love and accept you exactly as you are.
Whoa! Hit the loot, baby.
Damn.
And then I realized like,
Yeah.
oh, dude, everything I'm doing is dope. I'm really happy with where I want to be. And it's like, there's like some saying in that book too. It's like, act like you chose this day, act like you chose your life, act like you chose even your problems.
Whoa.
And it makes me feel like in that moment, it's like, dude, actually I wanted all these things. And there's more that will come and happen. But it's like, even in that moment, if like, let's say I'm still waiting for an opportunity, it's like, that was good for me. I want that like patience in between. But
Yeah.
I say that it's definitely days where it's like not as easy to feel that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
dude,
Well,
when will this thing come?
Yeah, I also feel like sometimes this is not just comedy, but like I think people who live in New York and other cities, or like people who are trying to make it in their own field, sometimes when you have a win. I remember the first time I played basketball, I made a shot, and it's not like there was a standing ovation because we're like 3 minutes in the game and we have a whole game to play and nobody gave a fuck. Nobody gave a fuck about the shot that I made, but it was my first basketball shot I've ever made at a game because I was really bad. I averaged 10 points in the whole season. I was so bad. But I made a shot, and it was like a big deal to me, and nobody cared because we're like, oh, we have to keep running because now they have the ball, right?
Right, you have to keep
and it
running.
feels
Right,
like that in life sometimes where you're like, you'll get something.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike had a cameo on a Comedy Central digital video. But like now the game has moved
Yeah,
on.
you can't. You
And,
gotta move on.
and
Right.
it's so hard to like, I don't even know if that's the best analogy, but it does feel like that you're
yeah.
like, I don't have time for this. I need to win the game, you know?
Dude,
Like,
yeah. It's like you can't celebrate because you got to move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And I think there is some truth to it, but also then like taking a moment to like look back at it. Dude, I know when like the busiest I was, I can like, it's weird. Sometimes I look back at it and think like, oh man, I wish I celebrated that more.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah. You're probably like me where you have this calendar of stuff you're doing, you know, and you always, it's all filled up. And then you have that big thing that you're going to do, or big show, or you're getting on Colbert or whatever. But then as soon as you do it, you go, what's next week? You go, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm always like looking forward and, oh, do I have enough stuff? You know, it's always in the future, which I feel, you know, to your point, Fumi, you're always like, if you don't like think, you don't like stop and go, man, I made that shot. That was sick as hell. You know, you're always like thinking, what's next? What's coming up next? And that's like, it's a weird place to live, you know? And I think that's the problem, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of celebrating moments, I think we should all take a second to celebrate motherfucking Shang-Chi.
Woo-woo.
Shang-Chi, baby. Actually, we're
I
saying
think
it's Shang-Chi.
Shang.
I know. Everybody
I've been
was
saying it wrong.
Well, I know we were all saying it wrong.
See, I don't think I'll say it right until I see the movie. I need to see it because I like.
That's how you
That's
can
why I
tell
haven't
we
been
saw the
talking
movie.
about it.
Yeah.
I haven't been talking
Yeah.
about it because I'm gonna mispronounce it, so I'll just like wait until I see it.
Yeah.
Which,
But yeah,
which
how-
actually honestly seems even more racist. You're just like, oh, that Asian movie that's coming out? Yeah. That one with I don't know who's in it or whatever. Yeah, some Asian people?
Yeah.
That's the one I want to watch.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we checked it out.
we checked it out. I mean,
I checked it out
was
because
good. It was good.
yeah, I liked it a lot. You know, we the nice people at Sanzo. I'm gonna hold up the thing.
Hey,
They're a
plug.
sponsor, and they gave us
Oh,
these.
it's
like,
Sanzo. Sans, not Sanzo. Sanzo.
Sanzo. See, I already fucked it up. I wish they had a movie, you know. So, they hooked it up with like a cool like kind of like private screening, which is like. I took my white friend, of course.
Yeah.
He's very excited about Asian culture.
Educate.
So
Educate.
He came, and it was a lot of fun. I thought the part, and this isn't a spoiler or anything like that. So JR, hang on. But like the parts I liked the most were the things where it was like an Asian bro who happens to be a superhero.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's like he goes to karaoke, he's on the California One bus in San Francisco. He's just doing his thing. And then all of a sudden he does like awesome kung fu shit.
Yeah.
Which
Hell
is
yeah.
like I thought that was like really where like the movie shined a lot, and I thought that was cool.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah, another fun thing is I swear to God, I was talking to Fumi about this. Anytime I see an Asian American movie, there's like a fair chance I'll know some of the folks in that movie now. Like, oh, there's Ronnie, you know what I'm saying? Or,
So
you know,
cool.
Stephanie Shu was
Yeah.
in it too, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And you're just like, hey, there's those people, you know? Like, I text them sometimes, and like, it's just like crazy to see. And it's
For
like,
sure.
oh, yeah.
Even the
Good
guy,
for them.
you know, the guy on the bus who was taking a YouTube video. He was doing a review of that guy's like a comedian in New York too. I used to see him
So
around when
cool.
I first
Oh,
started.
shit.
Yeah, it's all these comedy people. kinda
There's
coming
something
together.
about seeing people. You know how we were talking about like the thing of seeing somebody get something and you feel like not like a negative thing. The positive thing I think is seeing that like, dude, there's a path for all of us like in this.
Yeah.
And so it's
Yeah.
like, oh,
Right.
dude, I just had coffee with this guy and now he's in this feature film. Like that's dope.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is a real thing that we're doing.
For sure. I had a really So I was like in a really weird state of mind the whole week, and then there's a lot of Asian coworkers at where I work, and we got this email thread like, oh, you want to go see Shang-Chi, like go support or whatever. And so we're like, yeah, and we went, and it was really fun. And afterwards we're like, we should take a picture to commemorate, like let's support.
There you
So
go.
we're like, let's take a picture, and then we're taking a picture, and then we're like, we should do like a pose, right? but then we realized they didn't give us one. Like Shang-Chi didn't give us one because like Black Panther.
Oh, yeah.
Black Panther has this, right?
Oh yeah.
So then we were
Wakanda
like,
forever.
So we like first we were like, okay, like 10 Shang-Chi, like 10 rings. So we like did this, and it just looked like we were sucking a bunch of cocks, just like in the middle of AMC. And then we're like, that's not right. And then so we ended up doing like, because what he does is Shang-Chi will propel himself upwards by slamming his rings into the ground.
Oh, right.
And so
Right.
we held up our wrists like this. It looked like we all had broken wrists or something. So I posted it about on Instagram, and we all took a picture like this. We look like fucking idiots. And I posted it, and somebody was like, this guy who's like very like pro POC, pro Asian, he was like, yeah, like this is why like Marvel doesn't give a shit about us. Like this is a conspiracy. Like they didn't give us a pose, because they don't want.
Pose.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know if I'd go that far, but like, it was definitely like a very. We were like almost there, Shang-Chi, yes, it was Asian people on screen, check. Good movie,
Yep.
check. Pose, maybe next year.
No check.
Yeah, no
maybe
check.
next year. You got to earn that. You got to earn
That
that.
would be progress. What a specific thing to get. I need to see the movie though, because maybe I'll see the movie and like,
You'll
fuck
think of
that,
something.
we need a pose.
I mean,
But-
I'm taking submissions if anybody's interested in, submitting,
Yeah,
but I can
yeah.
tell you it's not this and it's not fucking this, so I don't know.
Shang-Chi. Dude, I need to.
Yeah.
When does it come out officially? Because was that the premiere? Or was
It's
that like
out already. I
Oh,
saw
that
it
was out.
just
There
regular
was
AMC.
I think it came out on Friday or whatever, like the official day or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
is yesterday.
Yeah.
So you guys go check it out one day. Okay, so we're going around, we're collecting celebrities here. Okay, we're working our way through fucking.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, just by getting Ronnie, you get like 17 movies right there. So like he's in fucking everything. So we'll try to get other folks to come on the show and we'll give them the loot boost.
Loot boost.
and then we'll talk about jerking off to affirmations, and it'll be a lot of fun. This is fun. We were talking about this before we started recording, but like I brought my white friend.
Yeah.
And Fumi, I think you brought your white friend, and it's just this is one of my best friends, and he actually came to, he's come to like so many Asian movies now. Actually, now I think about it, he came to Crazy Rich Asians with me, and he also came to Parasite, and it was just cool because this is like I know I'm not even Korean, but once we saw Parasite and he watched it and he was like, wow, that was so good, and it was just like cool to just have someone there who doesn't make it weird to be Asian. Does that make sense? Like, isn't gonna be like, yeah, like let's go eat ramen now. Like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? It was just like a cool moment, and we were just like regular people and everything. And that was like the weird part to me. I was like, thank you for just accepting that we saw this thing and not asking any weird questions about the food they ate or whatever fuck it is. You know what I'm saying? Or assuming that all of us live like this, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I thought that was interesting. I don't know, Fumi, did you have like any fun white people Asian experiences?
Well, I just remember like this guy was like, at the end he like makes a joke about how like he was counting how many white people there were in the movie because there were very few.
Oh yeah.
And it was just funny because like Asian people did that, but we weren't joking for a long time. We'd like we'd watch any movie and we just count, Ant-Man, Randall Park, that's one, and we just have our finger held up like this for the whole movie.
That's one. It's still up, just one.
I did
Just
think
one,
Shang-Chi
still.
was very Asian, and that ultimately, like, this is not a spoiler, but it's ultimately like he has an issue with his dad, right?
Yes.
And as I was watching it, I was just like, hey, I'm not saying that my dad owns a terrorist, militia group, but there is like, I feel like a lot of Asian dudes have like issues with their dads that are unresolved and can only be resolved through some nice kung fu fighting.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
that's what
did you see yourself in that? I don't know. I just feel like that dad thing was like very Asian. I don't really know how to explain it, but it really was.
I feel for sure the least believable part was that they talked about their feelings for each other.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah,
the CGI in here is tight. This is crazy. How do they get
His
this?
emotions.
How do they? How did they make it seem like
You're
a,
like
an
that,
Asian
that's
dad
not
and-
real. That wouldn't
That's
happen.
not real.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
the
yeah.
dragon. Okay, I buy the dragon.
No, you
The
bury it
dragon is-
inside until you die, and then you say how you feel at the funeral.
You say how you feel at the funeral, and then now everybody please enjoy the buffet. So yeah, that was cool. But I mean, Tony Leung is a fucking legend. So it made me want to watch all of his movies. He's so fucking amazing. So it was just really cool to see. And like now I feel it's just wild. This is kind of bringing it back to kind of like the whole industry, I guess, is like I feel like any actor's goal is to be plugged into the Marvel machine because once you're in that, then you can like be in all sorts of fucking movies. You know, like it's not just like, you know, now the way it works is like, yeah, you know, you got your origin story thing, but now you can be in other Avenger movies. You can be in some random whatever thing on Disney Plus now. It's like you got it's like
like a
getting
mafia.
the Google job.
Oh yeah. It is like
It's getting the Google job.
Yeah.
You know, and you're in there now forever.
Yeah.
So I think it was funny. My sister was texting me. She's like, "Oh, I saw Ronnie on there. That was awesome. Where, you know, you should." People always ask me like, "You should try to get onto one of these."
Dude, that's so funny. That's
And I'm
so
like,
true.
yo, I was like, really? Well, first of all, I'm not an actor. I can't act, and but like, I'm like, how would I do that? Like, that's not even.
You know what's funny
like,
is
of
like
course.
I've been thinking about that this week, where people will say that, and I know it's out of love because they want the best for you.
Yeah,
but
no,
it's,
it's out of love.
but
Yeah,
it's interesting. Like, but the feeling sometimes is like they're telling it to you as if like you wouldn't just do it if it was like a option. Like, like Mike, why aren't you doing Marvel movies?
oh fuck.
Why don't you? Are you?
Oh shit!
You forgot to call them.
Oh
know.
my gosh, I haven't been checking my DMs. Oh my gosh, sorry, Steven
yeah,
Spielberg.
Marvel's all up in my DMs.
Hey,
Please,
yeah.
Please do our next movie.
Just
Yeah.
constantly, and
Please
you
do it.
you just leave them on scene on
I know.
Instagram.
Just seeing, just leaving.
Yeah, we're
leaving,
rebooting
leaving
Cat,
Captain
we're
America.
doing Catwoman, and we need you, Mike. We really need you. We need that body.
You know what? I mean, that's the sort of funny thing too. Is that like, I mean, there was only one Asian slot. I think there was like two. One. This is one of them. Shang-Chi is one of them.
Yeah, but they
The
can
other
make
one-
anybody Asian now. You know what I'm saying? Because Captain America's black now. You know, it doesn't matter.
good.
Like you can make, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Tony Stark is dead. You don't think a fucking Tony Stark's right hand man was a fucking engineer from Japan? You don't think that? You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
like for
word.
sure. You know, like so. I think
Dude, I would
who
love
could
to
be-
see Asian Spider-Man for sure. Asian Spider-Man
Well,
is so good.
yeah.
Asian Spider-Man would be tight. I do know that actually in one of the like newer Hulk ones, the Hulk is Asian. Is an Asian kid. Is Hulk. Yeah.
Yeah.
He is, you know, he's it's not Bruce Banner, but it's like he has like the same powers or whatever the fuck it is. So that could be cool.
Yeah.
So and so one of us, I mean, you know, we go to the gym, at least JR does.
Yeah.
Bulk up. JR.
Yo, bro.
Hulk
Let's
it
go.
out.
Let's
and
go.
you got all your emotional depth. You're working through your thing.
Hulk
you know?
is perfect for Asian stuff because it's like repressed emotions
Yes.
is the core
yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
And he's like a scientist who's repressing his emotions.
Yes.
For
And then
sure. I
lets
mean,
it
every
out.
time I watch the Hulk, I'm like, I know a Korean guy like that. You know.
Yo, Steve Kim.
We all
Steve
have that
Kim
Korean
as the
friend.
Hulk.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's so
You know,
good.
we're all drunk and like, hey man, hey listen, look, we can't get into the club, and he's like, what? And he just gets super rage.
Yeah, dude.
Love it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. JR, we always wrap up this podcast with this game we play called Asian Not Asian, where we talk
yeah.
about, we bring up things we talked about through this episode, and we ask you if you think it's Asian or not Asian, and there is a right answer, and we have you explain why you think that is.
Okay. Okay. Is this
do
Asian
it.
or not Asian, and
Yes.
why?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
So the first thing we have on here, self-help books. Is it Asian or not Asian?
Oh man, my first thing is Asian because I do it and I'm Asian.
I mean,
but
that checks out. Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But
That's a good
you know
one.
what? But it's weird because like I wouldn't say that we all but now it is really Asian because I know so many Asian comics who do it.
Yeah.
What's her
Yeah.
oh my god, see now I feel so Jenny Yang.
Yeah.
Jenny
Oh,
Yang,
yeah?
when
Yeah.
we were doing that show, we were all it was the one that you guys like hooked us up with in the corporate
The mental
thing.
health show? Yeah.
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 Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
that was
there
cool.
we go. She said something in there that I remembered to this day where it was like, oh, my therapy, I'm just unlearning survival mechanisms that
Yeah.
my parents had to
Yeah.
had to do to
Oh,
survive.
Shit.
Dude, that stuck with me forever. So it's like I think it's the new Asian. Maybe our parents weren't like self-help, you know?
And you Asian? New?
You
And
new
you.
Asian.
I
Yeah,
love
so I
that.
think it's like the new generation of Asian,
Yeah.
because like our parents wouldn't do self help. They would probably like I was gonna say they probably just beat their kids, but like
It's just like
But-
fighting tactics.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
But like that, to make us all stronger and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is
sure.
that is the
Okay,
correct
that was
answer.
a good one.
That was the correct answer.
Correct action. Okay.
That's correct.
All right, here's the second one is the following: Asian or not Asian? Believing in yourself.
Oh my gosh! Wow, these are deep this week. Is this always
Yeah,
like
these
this?
are good. We
Well,
got deep.
We got deep this week. We got to go
Dude,
We
deep.
started
man.
off
'Cause
fairly
you-
goofy, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden we
Dude,
went
I
into the
just
deep
watched Kodo last night. I'm still in a sensitive place, you guys. I'm gonna cry at the end. Of
end. Don't cry.
I might.
Or do cry. I don't know. Maybe it'll be good for the show.
Yeah, you're like don't or do. I don't know, man.
Do. I don't know.
Just-
Hey. Do yourself. Do you. Want to cry? Go ahead.
Believing in yourself. Oh wow, man. I'm gonna go Asian too. Cause like you know what I'm thinking? I'm like manifesting this shit. I want like
Whoa,
future Asians
manifest, yeah.
to believe in
Ooh.
themselves. You know?
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's what I want it to be for all the Asians out there who are like maybe like listening or just out there and just like, oh no, can I do this? All that stuff. Fuck yeah, you can. Shang-Chi
Damn.
just came out and everyone's gonna pronounce that shit right.
I feel like the tricky thing with Asians is like we all secretly know we're the shit, but we just won't say it.
yes.
And so we do
That's
believe in
another part of
ourselves,
it.
but this question really should have been outwardly saying you believe in yourself. That's the part we struggle with, I
Yo.
think.
Dude, and there's starting to be like a new breed of like Asians that do. I don't know if I was gonna
confident,
say-
confident
I see
Asians,
that.
confident, yeah,
it's
young
Koreans.
ones.
Koreans are leading the way in that.
They are leading the way.
They are leading the way. Yeah, they
'Cause
got
they-
the turtlenecks. Yeah.
Dude, the turtlenecks and like a chain.
The turtlenecks and
Yeah.
the chain, though.
I didn't know that
you
could be cool. And then they're just like, it is cool. And my hair.
It is cool. You
is
just
like-
didn't know.
Yeah.
You're not cool. Have you ever thought about that, JR?
I
You're
love-
not cool. You're
I
like,
love
yes.
that. Because they convince you like this is cool, this is swag, and then you believe it.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to be.
Yeah.
Dude, Koreans
Yeah.
at a certain time in my life helped me get more DMs, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah. Oh
I
yeah,
owe a lot to
dude.
them.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, this whole time that Asian American dudes, we were hitting the bench press, trying to be more masculine.
Yeah.
The real way to get more sexual liaisons, colored hair,
Yeah.
purple
Yeah.
hair, bro.
And
that was the
and a
move.
great facial routine.
great skincare.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
the move. That
That's
was
the
the move
move.
the whole time.
Yeah.
Fuck
You
it.
guys
Yeah.
both have really good skin. I literally made a
No,
note.
mine's really bad actually, but yeah.
Really? Well, whatever filter you got, bro. You got good
The
skin.
filter's great. No, my filter's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then just Fumi. You have great skin.
Fumi does have good skin.
It honestly,
People legit.
it's like
Yeah.
genetics. It's genetics. I don't do anything.
Oh, okay.
I just put
It's
on
beautiful.
moisturizer. People ask me. They ask me like fans ask me what my routine is all the time. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
they always ask.
my dad has really good skin, so that's just why. Yeah.
So you're just
Yeah,
like
it's-
telling them there's no hope for them. All of them who ask.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can
Forget
do.
it. It's all scam. It's all scam. Jerking off to self-affirmations.
Yo.
Dude, these
Asian
sound so
reason.
specific. You know, I'm realizing the format of this now.
Yep.
You think
is
it's
that
Asian or
Asian or
not
not
Asian?
Asian? Yep.
Oh, Asian. Yes, Asian. Very Asian.
Yeah.
So like in these, right? I think the new thing of Asian that like for myself, it's just like healing, you know? Healing the
Yeah,
old
okay.
the old Asian ways that
Yeah.
weren't productive now. That's Asian.
Dang.
Dude.
I love how like
That's a good point.
you've been reading so many self-help books that you're turning this like perverted thing into healing. Like you're just like you're jerking off with your Bose like noiseless headphones or noise canceling headphones to like fucking dude. There's porn out there now. It's like there's reaction video porn. Have you seen that shit?
Is there really? No,
Girl-
dude, I told you I've been out. I've been out the game for a little bit.
Look, you've been out the game. Hilarious.
I've been out. I'm out of it, bro.
Happy to have you back whenever. I'll be there.
Yeah.
Fucking
I'll get back in
Technology
there.
has
Oh,
really
shit,
advanced
Fumi.
a lot. Yeah.
There's a seat right next to Fumi with my name on it. Yo, I've been
Yeah.
waiting for you.
Yo, come on. Hey, have a seat, bro.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a session.
Yeah.
We're doing a session.
Okay.
Yeah, the reaction ones, just girls watching it, and then in the beginning they're like, "What is this?" And by the end they're like masturbating, and it's actually kind of hot.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it's set up in that YouTube like video.
Yeah,
game.
yeah. Dude,
But see, that's what I'm saying.
That tempts
Like,
me, man. That tempts me.
yeah.
everything is about just like breaking the fourth wall. It's somewhat in so many ways comedy and porn are like so similar because
Oh,
it's
for sure.
about like like now there's like influencer porn people, you know what I'm saying, where they're like I'm in Bulgaria first, you know?
Yeah.
I'm going to do
Yeah.
a trip and the first half of the video is like her like eating like a cupcake
Yes, and
you're
then
just
they
like,
fuck
this is
later.
cool.
Oh my
and then they have sex later.
I wanted
I
to
don't- I
talk
don't
to you
even
about
get-
that, and that
I don't even get to
that
that, part. I
movement,
just
bro?
get
That movement is actually headed by Asian Americans or like Asian porn stars.
Is
I'm
it
just
really?
like I don't even get to the porn part. I'm just like, yo, that bridge that she's hanging out at is tight. I love that
You're
bridge.
like, Gina, we should go there next time we're in Paris.
Yeah, hey,
Dude,
get
I will
over
say
here.
there was probably a time where like
watching
I
porn.
watched so much porn that I needed something like different. So I wanted to see.
Yeah.
There was one that was like it wasn't even porn. It was just like interviewing porn stars about like random questions.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I felt like I was like, oh, I forgot that I was here to jerk off. I was like,
Yeah.
Now I'm
There's
here
some
to
crazy
learn.
shit out there.
That's when you have a
I'm here to
problem is
learn.
when you're on Pornhub but you forget your main objective. That's when
Yeah.
Your
that's when
main
you know.
objective.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a master's degree. You're like, oh, should I got a master's degree in poli sci?
Oh no, I was just trying to watch some
Oh,
milf
fuck.
porn.
Ah, fuck.
We
Just
did it
milf
again.
porn
Got
me a
another
master's
degree. God
got
damn
another
it.
master's degree.
God damn it.
Okay, last one from the Asian not Asian game. Lutes, the stringed instrument.
It's definitely Filipino. Like I could see
Word.
I could see lutes being played by Filipinos at like a party. And
Yes.
Then, and then passing it around, and then like all the other Filipinos
Passing it
gathering around and like
around.
harmonizing and stuff.
Whoa.
For sure, I can definitely see that.
Yo. And then you guys do that like you guys do the dance with the sticks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Tinikling.
Yeah.
It's called
Yeah.
Tinikling.
Yeah, and then you got the lute going too. You know what I'm saying?
Also, the way that you play lute is so specific. It's like up here.
Hi, you know what I'm saying? I play lute
like the bass.
Dave Matthews. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that was Asian Not Asian. We hope you enjoyed it. And JR, this was such an amazing episode. Thank you so much for being here with us. I know we went a little over, but is there anything you want our listeners to know? Where can they find you and your latest work?
Yeah, just all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, and all that stuff. I started a new podcast, Bits and Beats, where I want to get either both you guys on or
Oh, hell
like
yeah.
individually.
Is there music involved? Because I'm in.
Yes. So basically, I interview the guest. I would interview you guys, and then make a beat based on the interview.
That's
Oh,
amazing.
tight.
That's
So
amazing.
like this one would be like about like jerking off, lutes, and
Yep.
healing,
Yep.
probably.
Yeah. Don't forget, maybe for mine, throw in turtling. You know,
Yeah,
turtling. Well, thank you very much to JR.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Please check out Shang-Chi. Please check out JR's work. He's so funny, so amazing. And you know what? Believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself.
It's hard.
Believe in yourself
Hard to do.
and go ahead and follow us on all the social media platforms while
Yep.
believing in yourself at Asian Not Asian Pod. I'm also on there at the Fumi Abe. That's TheFumiAbe.
And you can find me on Instagram at Nice Pants Bro.
Come to our next Hack City comedy show. The next one is going to be October 14th. And guess what? I'm going to be in New York for that one. So please come
Yeah.
out to that one. We'd love
He's
to
back.
see you. We'd love to see you. And I don't know, Patreon, leave a review. Goddamn, do all those things, give us your money. If you want more content about jerking off to phrases like, you can do it. So please go do that. And Anos, we love you. JR, thank you. And everybody, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.